Good afternoon. It's Thursday the 27th of October 2022 and I'm now enrolled in the university here in the State University in Baranovichi in Belarus and taking Russian classes. It's not very easy at all. Anyway, there's a university from a distance. This is the main branch. I'm only there for 2 days, but there's another branch, I guess, in another little part of Baranovichi, where I'll be actually taking the classes. It's 3 months of classes, and I believe it was cost is about I think $400 US altogether for the school. But here's a little bit closer look at this branch. So that's just to let you know what I'm up to right now. And of course the whole class is all Chinese people, and they all know some Russian already. I guess they do a lot of self-study. They're a little bit more disciplined or whatever than most Americans are, so they all have quite a bit of knowledge. Luckily, I think I'm hopefully going to be able to have a little bit better pronunciation, I think, than they are. Had to stop the video. There was some classmates, some Chinese girls. Most of them are girls in the class anyway. Here's a little closer view of this is the main branch, like I said, of the university, so I won't be going to school here. It was just for 2 days, actually 2 hours yesterday and 2 hours today, kind of mixed up. Why, I don't know, but we'll have the regular classes in a different branch. And but anyhow, I'm just mostly now going to be talking about the news. Apparently Ukraine and NATO have recruited a lot of Al-Qaeda and ISIS. Whether there's a difference, who knows? They're both run by the United States, in case you didn't know anyway. You know, Hillary Clinton had the, I don't know, decency, if there's anything decent about Hillary Clinton, but she at least admitted that Al-Qaeda is an asset of the United States. And I think even on audio tape, I've heard that there is, she's mentioning that ISIS is also, an entity of the United States. And it's come out so often by so many people, that are supposedly caught by ISIS during that time when they were really active in Syria, and they had British accents and who knows what not. So it's all, you don't know what the heck is going on. All this stuff that you're hearing in the news, nothing is really true. Nothing is true. So everything that you hear, you should automatically just not believe it. Like who's doing what to who and when and why. So a bunch of crazy stuff. But anyway, these people are getting paid. At least the other mercenaries, the American mercenaries, get paid like around $2,000 US a day. And I don't know, maybe the ISIS people get paid a little bit less to try to kill Russians, I guess. That's the whole part of that. It's always been that way. I think you can go back maybe even hundreds of years and you can see that the objective is to kill Russians, or a brown-skinned people, or who knows, one day Chinese people, or jeez, I don't know what's in people's heads, this hegemony or superiority complexes, or I don't really know, narcissists. Well, it's probably all about money anyway, and they just want to make sure that Russians don't get any. So yeah, and I guess that dirty bomb that Russia was talking about, it's located supposedly in Nikolaev, and that kind of makes sense, because I was always wondering, well, why is Ukraine evacuating a lot of their citizens from Nikolaev? And they never evacuated anybody from any other place that was supposedly under threat of Russia, getting the high ground or invasions or whatever. So that was kind of very strange. Why would they be evacuating when they never have before? So they withdrew troops as well, and they sent them to Kherson. So why would they take their troops away? And I think that's why Russia has made some gains recently in that Nikolaev region. And I think maybe they're a little bit hesitant now because they know where supposed dirty bomb was supposed to be detonated, and I think I've heard that there were 2 dirty bombs. I don't know. That's for yourself to find out, and you never know anyway what the real information is. There's one internet vlogger from Poland. Her name is Ania K, and she just had Scott Ritter on 2 weeks ago on her channel. But I discovered her, before I discovered that, and she was putting on her channel. There's some kind of scares of mobilization in Poland. Poland's pretty crazy, and I just saw the video with Scott Ritter this morning, and he believes that Poland is just as crazy as Ukraine. I mean, a lot of these this ideology of Nazism or whatnot. I don't know if they're like Nazis in Poland or something, or they're just crazy knuckleheads or whatever. The president and the prime minister there seem to be, wanting to have the war as badly as they can. They want nuclear weapons and mobilization, and they're sending thousands and thousands. Scott Ritter said tens of thousands of troops into Ukraine, and many thousands have already died there, of course, because he said they found the bodies. Russia knows because Russia found the bodies, and I guess what's his name, Andrzej Duda is the leader of Poland, and he's this guy. He hates Belarus too, and he wants to take the 2 western states, most western states of Belarus, which is Grodno and Brest, and incorporate them into Poland. He also wants to take western Poland and maybe make a Eratz Poland, a greater Poland like Eratz Israel or whatever. Who knows, And anyway, Ania K was talking about police doing sort of drills in the airports there. It's almost like, I don't know if she said this or I just suspected, but somehow it's like trying to stop people running from Poland if they do a mobilization, from getting on airplanes and taking off and going somewhere else. So whether that's all about, who knows. The Duda is saying that the inflation is Putin. Putin's doing it all. As if you haven't heard that before. Putin did it. So, if you lost your car keys, Putin did it. If you're missing a sock out of the dryer, Putin took it. So anything that goes wrong, it's Putin. But the United States anyway, how they do things, it's whoever the enemy of the month is, they blame it on them, whether it's Iran or Syria or Saddam Hussein or Gaddafi or who knows what, but it's normally, I think the villain of this century is Putin, of course. He's not going to live a century, but he's at least the designated villain for many decades, as you know. Putin's tied to everything. But anyway, Duda says that Putin is destroying all the Western economies. But Ania is saying she heard somewhere that a lot of the Polish banks are in danger of failing. It's like out of the major banks, I think she said something like about 2 out of 3 or Polish banks that they could fail in the near future. Mostly because of all this inflation and you know what that means when a bank fails. It doesn't mean the bank itself fails. It means everybody that has their money in that bank fails. So there's even people saying take your money out of the Western banks. I don't know. I still got my money in the banks here, but I'm in Belarus, so it's a little bit safer. I think they're a little more honest over here right now. Yeah, there's some law that was passed. I'm not sure what year that was, 2007 or something, when they declared that you are investing in the bank, so that if the bank fails, you lose your money. It's not like you're like in the old days when they told us that your money is insured. I think they did something for a short period of time after the Depression. So many people lost their money. But anyway, even during that time when it was insured, I think it was only like up to a certain small percentage, like 3% or whatever. But when the banks fail now, you're the one that fails, not the bank. So that's just something to keep in mind. And well, as far as today is concerned, so far that's about all I have to say. And I'll try to post this today at some point in time. And stay safe. Well, glad I didn't post this yet. I'm responding to a comment that I just read. Marius, I believe his name is, if I'm pronouncing that. Marius O. But I said in my other videos, I was mentioning Ania K from Poland, and Marius, he is also from Poland, and he said they hadn't started any kind of mobilization. They haven't done it since 2008. So, and he said that a lot of this buildup is mostly because Poland had a lot of revenue, and they'd used all that revenue into roads and rebuilding a lot of infrastructure. So, they want to reconstitute their military is number one, and another is obviously, in my opinion anyway, they seem to be very scared of Russia, and they think that Russia's going to come and invade and take them over. Maybe. But maybe it's not that. Maybe I read into it wrong, and Scott Ritter is maybe a little bit off as well. Maybe Poland is not as rabid and as Ukraine. They seem to hate Belarus and Russia, of course, very much. The Poles, or at least the Polish executive branch of the government there. I don't know otherwise what's going on, but you see how a lot of these governments, react when they have some sort of threat coming at them. You know, you want to keep your job, you don't want to get attacked, you don't want to be made to look like you are unprepared. You know, I guess you'd have to be in a leader's shoes to know all this sort of thing. And but you have to also realize Russia has no plans on attacking Poland, and they never have. They didn't even have any plans to do anything against Ukraine. But when you have a bunch of Nazis that say they want to kill you, living right next door, and if you're not jumping, you're a Russian, and all that sort of thing. And then they've been asking to try to get nuclear bombs to be throwing on Russia for who knows, I don't know, decades maybe. So I guess, you know, you can realize that that Russia, you know, has grounds to do what they're doing. So I wouldn't blame Russia at all. But you know, I don't know. Maybe Poland they're just very frightened. I don't know. The leader is what I mean. I don't think the people are frightened. You know, but I tell you, I went to Latvia, and like I said, and it's probably not that much different than Estonia or Lithuania, and maybe not even Poland. But I believe that a lot of these governments were, in a certain way, chosen by the West, by the United States in particular, because they were chosen for their hatred of Russia, I believe. So it's like, well, how can you find people that hate Russia so much and then put them right in the government? And it's like, or Belarus. So like, well, what did Belarus ever do to Poland? You know, what did they ever do to Latvia or any of those countries? You know, and Ukraine. I think Belarus got along with Ukraine before this time, but I guess that's because the U.S. has probably just installed a government, you know, recently, you know, to hate Russia, and before that they had Yanukovych, and you know, they always had a mishmash of leadership that hates Russia. So, gosh, look at, there's a tree. It still has a lot of nice leaves on it, and nice autumn leaves. Let's see if I can show that here. Everything else is getting stripped bare here. It's not that it's cold, it's actually kind of warm. You see, I don't even have my jacket fastened. So we had some colder days, I believe, in September, and than we do in October. Here it's the end of October 27th, you know, so it's hard to believe that it's not really that cold yet. I mean, after we've had so many other colder days at other times. So yes, indeed. But I also heard from Scott Ritter, and he's a person you gotta listen to. He's believing that the Russian, I don't know if you call it a counter-offensive or offensive, or when you're the country that is in another country's land, I don't know if you can call it a counter-offensive, but he believes it's going to happen against Ukraine in December, because he said it's not because of the ground not being frozen yet, because he said himself that the ground will probably start to freeze or be frozen at least at some point in time in November. But he's talking about training, that the troops wouldn't be trained quite well enough. So I guess they're training them very well. You know, if you think about how long it takes to train say an infantryman, it doesn't take that long. You could get that done in well, you know, you don't have to go through the crap you do in basic training, but maybe a lot of those guys need to be whipped into shape. I don't know, because they've been out of the military for so long. So maybe that's 4 months. So, you know, if you want them to be well trained, so that comes out to be about right. But a lot of these people are just needing refresher courses. Who knows? You know, I'm not in the Russian military, and you know, my days were quite a few years ago, so what am I going to say? Well, anyway, that's good that I had to turn the camera on again. I already said my goodbyes, but I always have to turn it on again. I always forget things. And I had some footage of inside of the university, just a little bit, of the school. And as usual, I forgot to say subscribe if you haven't already. And I'll be doing better content, but of course that's been delayed now since I'll be in school, and still waiting for my apartment to be done. I'll be able to have a desk, something to write on, and all that sort of thing when I'm living in my own place. But right now, no place to write on, in a dark room, hardly any light really to use for writing or doing any sort of research like that. So it's just a little rough right now. It'll get better though in time, so subscribe. Okay, till next time.